Sometimes the title of a video is just so eye-catching to me that I really just can't help but watch, and I think that a lot of these videos get kind of passed along, and I'm really enticed by this to see how well it goes. But today we're going to be reacting to a video by Jello Impact, linked down in the description below, and we're going to take a look at the top 5 myths people still believe in Genshin Impact. Now, of course, if you like the content from my video or you like my reaction, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next video comes out. Of course, again, reaction videos are one of those things where I try not to do them so often unless it's through a live stream and such, but I do like reacting to certain people's videos because it kind of makes you ponder about certain things, and hopefully I can give it a little bit more of transformity, at least from another Genshin Impact player that has been playing for a long time. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into the video. All right, top 5 myths people still believe in Genshin Impact by Jello Impact. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Of the internet and people's constant search for truth, the world is now completely free of misconception. No, it's not. Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. And today we're going to talk about the top 5+1 misconceptions.
Top 5+1. You've already lied to me, Jello. You've already lied to me. You're telling me that this is not a top 5 anymore.
System, and specifically people's advice for it. They tell you don't build pity. Well, I'm going to tell you that there's 2 kinds of building pity. The bad kind is where you just have no self-control. You're waiting for the Archon, so you put a few wishes on this banner because you can't wait, and you're like,
okay, I'm really surprised. I'm well, not surprised, but I really want to find out what this is about.
Man, now I can't get the Archon. That's the bad kind of building pity. The good kind of building pity is you're like, well, I don't really want Neuvillette. I kind of do, or I kind of want Hu Tao, but I don't like really want her, so I don't want to like wish for her, but I really need a copy of Xingqiu and a copy of Fischl. And you're on your 50-50, and so you put 10 or 20 or 30 extra wishes to try and get and just snag a copy or 2 of those characters.
I don't think that's a good way of building pity
and
either.
If you do get them, then great, you got some great 4 stars and you have built pity for the next banner. And if you get an early copy of a 5-star, like an early 5-star, there's a 50% chance it won't even be the on-banner character, and now your next character is guaranteed. And if you do get them, it's only 10 or 20 wishes, and just make sure if you do this that you do.
I'm kind of confused by this because like I've never really
would build them if you got them, that it wouldn't.
I'm gonna pause it really quick because I tried to tell myself that I wouldn't pause, but I don't think there's ever a good way to build pity. Now there's people out there that are like, oh, but you should try and build pity for the 5-star that you want. But of course, if you're on 50-50, there's no reason for you to build pity, really, in my personal opinion. And maybe that's a hot take by me. Let me know in the comments down below if I'm crazy. But if you're going for a 4-star, then that makes sense. I don't think that's building pity. I think you're going for the character that you want to go for. But if you're getting a 4-star to build pity, that kind of sucks. Great example for me was when I went for Freminet. And when I went for Freminet, I literally got a 50-50 fail, and then I got another Zhongli. Now, granted, is Zhongli fantastic? 100%. But I wasn't doing that banner to build pity. I was doing it to get the character. So I think maybe what they're trying to say is that you could build pity through getting your 4-star characters, which is absolutely true. But I don't think that's a good way to build pity in the slightest. That's where I would disagree with Jello here.
Be a total waste. This isn't number 2 yet, but while we're on the subject of the pity system, there's a little bit of misconception about when the pity actually starts. I see so many people talk about how, you know, hard pity is at 90, which is true, and soft pity starts at 75. It actually starts at 74. So if you're wishing right up to that 74th wish, just be very careful. Like if you're building, I really don't recommend building pity up to that high, but be very careful when you get to the 74th wish.
I would have to look at the percentages, so I can't really say whether or not that's
every
true.
Wish after that gets more and more likely to get a 5-star.
Well, I mean, if you go from it from that perspective, if you're saying like at 74, what you've done 74,
guys, and that does early pity exist? I'm pretty sure
that makes sense, I guess, in a way, but I still feel that summoning on 74 is not going to normally get you a 5-star. Normally, it's normally 75. So I think that honestly, that one is not entirely a myth. That might be something where I think he's just telling you,
despite my research,
aim for 73 to stop for pity and then go for 75. Hey, there's Nahida. Hi, Nahida.
Number 2 is the idea that you should always go for new characters instead of getting constellations or weapons. Of course, if you're brand new, the most important thing is to make sure you get your favorite characters. Until you have
100%. I absolutely agree with going for the characters that you like instead of the newest character trend.
Prioritize new 5-stars. But once you do, you can take a look at your account and say, hey, what do I need more of? Do I not have enough Favonius Lances? And do I want a Homa for my Hutao? Do I have
Listen, if you are saying that you don't have enough Favonius Lances, you really have not played the game long enough. Favonius Lance drops like candy, bro.
For your favorite character, it can make the game more fun, and that's what the point of the game is.
I do think that constellations or going for constellations is a lot better, because if you find that character that you really like let's say you like Neuvillette, like if you're saying that you like Neuvillette and you're going for constellations for him, I absolutely understand. You should go for the character that you absolutely love. Take me, for example, again, whenever I go for Ganyu, I'm always going for more constellations until I get that Constellation 6. What will happen after I get Ganyu Constellation 6? I'll probably go for, you know, maybe Zhongli, Kazuha, Nahida, or Neuvillette, maybe. But in all honesty, like, when it comes to constellations, that makes your characters that much better. I'm not saying that you should summon only for constellations. Go for what you like. That's what I think the myth is about. Go for what you like and summon on that. Then go for what you want to go for next.
It could be that a really good weapon banner has...
Do not summon on a weapon banner normally, though. I will say that. Wait until there's like something like this, Tome of Eternal Flow and Staff of Homa. Very good banner to summon on. Very good banner.
On the weapon banner. But don't think it's so simple just to say, oh, always go for new characters, because it's very easy, and tons of people have this experience. They just have a backlog of 5-star characters that you can't build. It's like having a backlog.
I mean, unlike me, who just builds every single character that comes up.
Books that you have that you've never had time to read.
Yes, I do build every single character, except for Chongyun and Razor. Those are the only two. Those are my artifact fodders.
But if you're a collector, you know, that's totally different.
That's such an adorable idle animation, by the way, for Hutao. It's so cute. Here we go. Let's hear number 3. This is going by fast for a 16-minute video.
You need a DPS character or just a character of every single type. This is an idea sort of left over from other JRPGs or other turn-based systems or things like that, where it's very valuable to have every single type built. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to always have the elemental check that's good for the Abyss. And I think that there are certain elements that are especially good to have.
I think I'm going to disagree in the sense of I've never heard anybody say that. But well, I'm not disagreeing with what he's saying. You don't need a DPS for every element. That's for dang sure. I agree with him on that. Do people actually say you need a DPS for every element? Is that true? Do you really need that? I don't think so. I don't think you need a DPS for every element. Like, think about this. We have so many DPSs, off-field DPSs, and all that stuff. There is no need for you to main DPS with every single element. It's not needed. It's cool if you do it, but I don't think it's needed.
So, for example, having someone like Nahida, sometimes they have those...
I've never heard somebody call her Nahida. I think it sounds dope, though.
Was the best element to deal with these, but now actually good Dendro application is by far the best way. These guys just melt the Dendro application. And actually, currently, with the way that the current bosses are in the game, you actually don't need a Cryo character at all. So Cryo is actually an element that you can skip. I'd say that Hydro...
Unfortunately, yes, it's true. I love Cryo. I love Ganyu. But unfortunately, Cryo is slept on a lot. Unfortunately.
Are really worth building it just for their type. Electro is one that I could go 50-50 on. It is really nice to have Electro for something like the algorithm of semi-intrusive.
I think Electro is a great one.
Your network.
You got Fischl, Yai Miko, Raiden Shogun. So many great Electro characters.
Whether it be Fischl.
Kuki as well, yeah.
Electro character. So I don't think you really need to focus on, you know, getting an Electro character, because more than likely you're going to be building a Fischl to support just like your account overall, because she's such a splashable.
Fischl with Golden Trope is insane.
Raiden has a bunch of other good teams, so more than likely, because you don't really need Electro just to deal with that boss, but you're probably going to be having Electro regardless. For Geo, well, it can be nice to have a Geo character in the ranks for something like the Golden Wolf Lord. Even an Ingwang with Thrilling Tales of the Dragon Slayer can give you enough Geo to take care of it, and then just support your attacker if you have a 3-man core.
That Geo costume for Geo costume, that Ningguang costume is so hot.
enough, and even using high elemental application characters like Xingqiu and Nilu's skill are actually able to deal with it without even needing a Geo on your team, which is something that people don't realize. So there's a lot of ways to overcome elemental checks without actually needing to build a character of every element, especially
I do like all the figures he has in his background. I really want to reach out to him and see if I could get pictures close up of those figurines, because that Shinhua and that Nilu look amazing. I think I've seen that right in Shogun, but
the specific utility that something like
sorry, just a side note.
Venti provides.
Jello, I love the figurines in the background, bro.
You don't need to focus on I need an animo character. I see this all the time for new players. Oh, I'm gonna get Wanderer because he's animo and I don't have an animo. I'm gonna build Jean because I don't have an animo. It's not really animo that's good. And
I think ultimately what he's trying to say is that you don't need to build a character for every element. But I will say otherwise. I think that it's good for you to build a character of every element. Now, if you're building a DPS for every element, that's different. I don't think you need a DPS for every single element. I will agree with that.
That they provide, the grouping, the buffing. Similar, it is really nice to have a pyro for those cryo lectors, and it is very valuable. You can get away with electro for those cryo lectors, but I think that just having someone like Bennett is so valuable because of how strong he is. So
Bennett is fantastic.
If you build strong teams and you build out your strong characters, you don't need to worry about having a character of each specific element, and you're going to be better off just building strong,
I think I can agree to that in a sense, but I do think that elements play a vital role.
One character of every element, then that's great, but if they don't actually work together,
most of the time you would choose a pyro character to go after a cryo, abyss mage, or a lector. So to be honest,
look at Hoyo Lab. This is a real thing that lots of people make the mistake of doing.
It's hard to agree or disagree with that one.
Number 4, the game is easy. For players that are very good at the game, yes, the game is easy. For players that know a lot about the game, yes, the game is easy. There are so many systems in the game that for a new player who's never experienced before, like the artifact system, all these different...
I get this all the time. Everybody in my comment section, every one of my friends says the game is easy. 100%, you're absolutely correct. The game is easy for us that build these characters, who are very smart in regards to at least understanding how artifacts work, how they're going to boost your character, team comps, and all that stuff. Very easy. For some players, it's not that easy. I have roommates. My roommates had a hard time getting past certain things because they just didn't get it. They didn't understand the whole concept of certain things. And that happens. And I wish that more veteran players were attuned to that, because saying in the comments section, saying, oh yeah, character ascension quests are easy and they just made it easier, so they're like, honestly, I think it doesn't help. It helps out the players that are having a hard time. Do they need to learn how to use artifacts and stuff like that? I truly think so. But I think it's up to them if they truly want to learn the artifacts at a certain time. Like, at least with the character ascension, when they get to the overworld, they could be like, oh crap, I'm kind of stuck now. Like, I'm having a hard time understanding what I need to do. They rely on their friends. They rely on some content creators. But I think that honestly, like, it's hard to understand this stuff right out the gate. So it's not easy for them to understand. The game is hard for some players. The game is easy for some players. And I wish that a lot of veteran players would get out of that mindset. The game is easy if you understand everything. If you don't understand it, it's not easy. It's just how it is.
Stats, how they roll into random stats, talent.
Kind of went on a tangent there, but it's the truth. I absolutely 100% agree with this point.
And refinements and so many different types of weapons, so many different types.
There's so much, exactly what he's saying. There's so much side shit to this that it's bananas.
Players, and they do not ever spend the time, like, just the fact that you're watching this, like, I'm kind of preaching to the choir. You're obviously seeking out information to learn about the game, but for people who don't learn about the game, it is very difficult just to get that baseline knowledge. And even once you do, it can actually be somewhat challenging to properly build out your account and not farm too much.
100%. It's difficult for players.
You're doing the right talents on the right characters on the right teams, not spreading yourself too thin, not spreading yourself too narrow.
Let me be honest with y'all. To be perfectly honest, this is me in most of the games I play. I literally don't read shit. I just go into it and I just start doing stuff. I click buttons. Like, that's just how it is. Genshin and Honkai are the first games that I've really put forth the effort into fully understanding mechanics and really understanding how to build these characters. So 100% agree.
Teams that synergize with each other, using teams that synergize with each other, actually playing the teams well, making sure you have enough energy recharge. There's a ton
Jello
of ways that you can
spitting
fall off and
bars
right
now, bro.
Play the game well, and the
Jello
game
is spitting
very
bars
hard as soon as you don't play it like that.
100% spitting.
I've gone on and just like switched some weapons around, switched some artifacts around, switched some teams around, and all of a sudden, bam, their account goes from not being able to 36 star to being able to 36 star. Just imagine.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
I don't believe the game is easy. You're just very hardcore, and a lot more hardcore than you think you are. Kind of related, and not moving into the next, so I'm going to keep it within the same bubble, is that spending money either makes the game more fun or that it ruins the game. I think the real true answer is that it depends. For me, I have the most fun in two ways. I really like how I'm playing now, which I set a restriction for myself that I can't get any 5-star constellations. I can only get C0 of every character, and then I do get some 5-star.
That's what I do most of the time, baby.
This restriction very fun. I also think it's really fun to just buy the battle pass and just buy the Welkin Moon, so you at least are not starved for resources. You can have fun building and experimenting.
100%. I think that you need to put restrictions on yourself. Fun is what you make it.
Just be a free-to-play player.
If you find it, it comes with the characters that you like. If you like certain characters, that's who you should play as. A lot of people give me crap for playing Ganyu. I love playing as Ganyu. I like long range characters. I've loved long range characters in multiple games in a lot of MMOs. I played multiple MMOs where I always go for the long range rogue. It's just how it is. I like long range. I like being able to do that damage from the outside. So in that way I'm helping out, but also being able to not like interfere with the main battle. I'm able to do that stuff. Some people like to charge in and attack. Some people are Itos. That's just how it is. Some people really like to bounce up and down and do damage. Those people are Zhaos. It's perfectly fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with playing the character that you absolutely love to play, but don't say that buying makes the game or ruins the game, because that's up to the player. If you play and you find out that it wasn't worth, buying, don't buy again. That's just how it is. But if you're buying like a character like Hu Tao or Neuvillette or Kazuha, or even a character like freaking Dia, if you went for Dia's banner and you find those characters fun, don't listen to what other people say. Don't listen to people saying that it makes it or that ruins the game. You're having fun on your own and you put in the money that you want to put in. Do I think you should spend your money in gacha? Absolutely not. Learn from me. I spend way too much. But it's just how it is. I think that honestly, a lot of people have preconceived notions on how these games go. And they're like, oh, you're putting money into a game that's just a money sink. Yeah, but I'm having fun with the money sink, personally. Now, I wouldn't recommend people spend money on these money sinks. But if you have a little bit of extra cash and you don't know what to do with it and you want to try out putting some money into it, I'm not going to tell you no. It's your money. You're a grown person. Do it.
Agree that it's fun to be a whale. I think it's fun for a certain type of person. I like a bit of a challenge. So when I
like building every character. That's why I summon.
That's why I don't cover any whale stuff on this account. But I know a lot of people do have fun with it, as well as I know a lot of people who kind of wish they could undo those constellations, that the game is sort of now too easy. But I know a lot of people who do still have fun with it. So it also costs.
I have fun playing as the characters. Difficulty doesn't matter to me.
I don't think that spending on the game.
That's just how it is. And people could call me a whale. People could call me, lazy. It's just I like playing as new characters.
Not spending money, maybe getting the occasional Welkin, the occasional battle pass, not doing any top ups. I think
this video is going to go on longer than I intended, and I apologize. But
free to play is a really good way to give yourself that challenge, right?
Let's go ahead. And...
I don't ever have to do commissions again. I can actually play the game. I don't and I can game.
Commissions are a little bit different. I'm gonna go ahead and skip a little bit.
Catered to the casual player, and if you're the kind of person
commissions are catered to the casual player, I do agree.
Keeps up with all your quests.
I do it because I like doing the friendship levels. That's another thing I like to do for characters.
You may not be a hardcore meta player, but you're a hardcore player nonetheless. And Genshin, they seem to have this philosophy where they do things to get the casual players to move towards being more hardcore, because they're like, hardcore people, they're already hardcore. They love the game. We don't need to do anything to please them. Not saying that's right. Not saying that's what they should do, but that's how they see it. They're like people who care about the Abyss. They care about the meta. They care about.
Jello spitting facts again.
please them. And people that already 100% the map, they 100% all the story quests, they're already good. We don't have to do anything to please them. It's these people that are lagging, that are behind, that are.
I feel bad now for skipping part of it because he's just spitting facts right now.
They're the ones that need.
He's actually full on spitting facts.
Where it was, but when you do the Archon quests, that you get extra wishes for doing the Archon quests. They need, like, some of my friends, they don't play the Archon quests, but then they started doing the Archon quests when they added wishes in because they needed more wishes. So they're trying to do things for the casual player and to move them to.
I mean, hey, that works for me because I'll take free wishes as well. That's just how it is.
Rather than like
that's just how it is. I'll take the free wishes.
Do commissions and events and whatever. So they created this system to allow people like that to do both at the same time, and I'm all for it.
Here's the number one. Oh, Yelan, yes. Oh, mommy.
The final misconception that I want to address, the final myth, is that X character, whoever that may be, is good, or that X character is bad, or that X character is mid. And this is, it's kind of a cheating one because it's sort of just directed everyone. I'm just like taking the easy.
Jello spitting, bro. To be perfectly honest, I am so tired of people saying that this character's bad. This character sucks. I do it too. But it's just because of how I built them. And I know that my build for certain characters is just terrible. But, an example. I tell people all the time, I don't think Xinyan is that bad. Xinyan, yes, low tier. Absolutely low tier. But when I was doing companionship stuff for Xinyan, I gotta tell you, I had fun. And I was actually enjoying the character. Now, granted, is she broken in a bad way? Yes. But she was still able to at least be played, and I could still use her for what I needed to use her for. She's not top tier, but you could still do stuff with her. Are you going to clear Spiral Abyss with her? Probably not, unless you've got a pretty cracked Xinyan. But I absolutely 100% agree. I don't think the importance of meta is that big.
Easy way, I'm just saying everyone's wrong, but it's kind of true, and I'm as guilty of this as anyone. When I say that, you know, Lyney is worse than Lyney is worse than Hu Tao, it's like, even if that's true, is it really true? Like, it's true in my opinion, it's true in my testing, but oftentimes even myself, or
it depends on what people do with their characters.
Or like, you know, Xingqiu's the best character in the game, or Official's the best character in the game, or Yelan's the best character in the game, Kazua's the best character in the game, Nahida's the best character in the game. It's so subjective, and it's so dependent on what's going on in the Abyss, what other new characters are out, what you need to do. And what you need to do is not determine which character is strongest. I like determining which character is strongest. I like having that subjective opinion. I always call it, I like to roll marbles down a track and see which marble comes up fastest. I'm like this guy. If you haven't watched Fabeka's marble runs, this is
okay.
This is
yeah,
like with Genshin.
Bro,
they literally
Jello,
have marbles,
my guy,
in different countries. They race them down a track, all to determine
bro,
which marble is the
dude,
best,
me and Jello must be like blood brothers or something, because I love the marble racing championships. It's so stupid, bro. No joke, Jello. If you somehow watch this, bro, I absolutely love the marble championships. I saw them a long time ago when they were first starting, and oh my god, I've never been more invested in a freaking championship more than marble racing, bro. And it's stupid, but if you're watching this, watch one, and don't tell me that you don't at least get a little excited. I'm just saying, bro. Jello, me and you,
there's no leaderboard.
We vibe, bro.
Those of us that like meta, we just find this fun. And our subjective opinion is so wrong. Like, my subjective opinion is that Raiden is a lot better than she probably is for most people, because I've played her so much, because I've invested so much into her. I have this inherent bias towards Raiden because of that. I have an inherent bias towards Nilou, for example, and that's okay.
And the funny thing is that I'm not a big fan of Nilou. I'm not. I think she's adorable, but for some reason, I'm just not a fan of the bloom. I'm not. Like, is she good? She can be. I just don't like her playstyle, and that's just how it is. Same with Raiden. Like, Raiden, I think is great for off-field DPS, but I would never main DPS her. And people have gotten on me about that. One of my friends absolutely despises me for it and gets mad at me because I like Ganyu's gameplay, but I don't like Raiden. It's just how it is. It's how certain people love to play, and that's what I think you should do. You should focus on what you like to play more than what you find as tier lists and all that stuff. I think, in all honesty, most tier lists are garbage. Like, I think if you go by it subjectively and go, these are characters that I would say you try out because they are considered high DPS, good healing, great shielder, anything like that. I think that's a good subjective tier list. But say that de facto, like, Bennett's the best character in the game, or, you know, Nahida is the best character in the game, or, Dia's the absolute worst. I think that, honestly, it's very subjective. We can go off of like who does the best DPS, who does the best healing, who does this, who does that. We could do all of that, but it's all dependent on what you're able to build and what you're able to actually use.
Okay for you to have your biases. It's okay for other people to have your biases. It's fun. This is where I would make the distinction, and this is where I want to talk about this myth, is that it's fun to talk about meta and talk about which characters are better and worse, but you should never make your pull decisions or your build decisions based on meta, unless I suppose you just find it fun to play only the strongest teams, and that's really truly where you find the most fun, in which case have at her. Hopefully I communicated that clearly enough. It's a little bit of a nuanced discussion. Let me know if that made sense. If you do find that kind of thing fun, you can check out my tier list. It's a little bit outdated. There's a bunch of things that I would change, so don't take it too seriously. I'll link it in the cards at the end. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. If you want to join,
dude, that's awesome. I'm gonna be subbing right after this. I've never.
If you want to join a great community and talk about your favorite.
I've never heard of Jello before, and to be honest,
or avoid meta.
I vibe with them. I vibe with them right now.
Linked in the description. And if you don't want to do any of those things, that's totally fine. Just watch.
I think Jello is super freaking chill. Like, okay, so let's switch over to the other screen. We're gonna make this as quick as humanly possible, right? Because we're already going on 25 minutes or 26 minutes now. So I absolutely agree with most of Jello's points here. I think Jello Impact is actually fantastic. I'm giving him a sub right now. He deserved my sub after that. That video was fantastic. But I do truly believe that's the biggest thing to take away from this, guys, is that you need to build the characters that you like. So when you're looking for summons, summon for the characters that you like. Do your research, like your characters. Build the characters that you like so you'll actually be able to understand what they do. And that way, if you're a player who's having a hard time ascending or going through the game because you ascended and your characters just can't make it, look up guides to build those characters, because I think honestly that's going to be the best thing for you to do. Even if you don't understand it, just look at somebody's build and be like, oh, they're putting a 4-piece Wanderer's Trope on Ganyu, they're putting a 4-piece Blizzard Strayer on Ayaka, they're doing 4-piece Noblesse for Bennett. Like there's different builds that work, and I think that honestly if you look at those guides it makes it better. So number one, summon for the characters that you like to summon for, or that you absolutely like. Even if it means going for a constellation, go for that. Number two, build the characters that you like, because that's what it is. It's your game. Play your game. Don't worry about how other people play. Play the game that you like to have fun with. And number three, don't worry about meta. Meta is not that big a deal anymore. Now, if you're wanting to go for the strongest characters, just as Jello said, nothing wrong with that. But you don't need to build meta to have fun with the game. Ultimately, video games are meant to have fun. If you like looking at the guides and looking at what's the best characters in the game, by far, do it. That's up to you. You're having fun in your opinion. But other people who are building like a 4-piece team and have Dia and Xinyan, while I don't understand the fun factor in that, if you're having fun, who am I to argue with you? I think you're having a fantastic time, and that's all that matters to me. So overall, Jello, fantastic video. Hopefully, we get to see some more Jello videos in the future that I'll react to, because honestly, I vibe with this. I think it's fantastic. So once again, y'all, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to entertain you. We'll be back again with another Genshin Impact video very soon. And of course, y'all, have a wonderful day. Please be safe, and we'll see you in the next video.